Kneeling on the driveway, draining the oil from your mom's Civic to save her $94.99 at Jiffy Lube. 2 decades later, a buyer walks your shop, opens your books, and writes a check for $549,900. Between those two moments sits a trade where ASE-certified techs earn 20% more than their peers, and where 57% of mechanics estimate they'll spend $60,000 or more on tools to keep the job. This is every level of being an auto mechanic in America, and what it actually costs. The driveway. You're 16. The car is up on jack stands your dad bought at Harbor Freight. The drain plug is seized. You round the head with a crescent wrench, swear, walk inside, and watch a YouTube video called How to Extract a Stripped Bolt. 40 minutes later, the plug breaks loose. 5 quarts of full synthetic and a filter cost you about $45 at Walmart. The Jiffy Lube down the street wanted $94.99 for the same job. You pocket the difference and feel something shift. You're not saving money, you're getting paid to learn. The next weekend you do the brakes, pads, rotors, both axles. The shop quoted $300. The parts cost you $80. Your knuckles bleed onto the caliper bracket. You torque the lugs to spec because a YouTube guy named ChrisFix said to. Your dad checks your work and nods. You sign up for Auto Shop at school the next semester, where the program is one of approximately 50,000 students nationwide running through ASE Education Foundation accredited training. The instructor, a retired Ford tech with a missing fingernail, tells you the trade pays. He doesn't mention that the BLS median wage is $49,670. He doesn't mention the bottom 10% makes $33,660. You wouldn't have heard him anyway. Level 2. The Lube Pit. You're 18. You took the job at Take 5 because they said you'd start at $14.90 an hour and you needed gas money. The bay is a concrete trench. You stand in it. Cars drive over your head. You drain, swap, top off, vacuum, rotate. 15 minutes per vehicle, brand standard, by the corporate stopwatch. 8 to 15 cars a day. The customer pays $94.99. You make $14.90. The math is the first thing that bothers you. The upsell script is taped to the column next to the lift. Air filter. Wiper blades. Coolant flush. You learn to hold a dirty cabin filter against the sun in the customer's window. The manager calls it the reveal. You sell 3 flushes your second week, and the regional buys you a pizza. The BLS median for the entire other automotive repair and maintenance industry, your industry, is $35,310. You read that on your phone in the break room and laugh. A guy named Marco trains you. He's been in the pit 4 years. He's tired. You'll learn nothing here past oil and filters. He tells you, drain bucket in hand. He's not wrong. The drain plug on a 2014 Camry strips on you, and the manager docks you the part. You're back. Tweaks pulling a stuck filter. You tweak it again the next day. The Hazelwood Chevrolet career page lists a guy who started as a lube tech in March 2022 and moved to line tech in 6 months. You print the page. You staple it to your locker. You start studying for ASEA 5 on your phone in the bay. Level 3. The B-Tech. You're 20. The dealership hired you because you had your A4 and A5, $62 per test, $34 to register, and because someone left. Flat rate begins today. The service manager hands you a paper, $10 an hour flat rate. Hourly minimum guarantee for the first 90 days. After that, you eat what you kill. Your first week you flag 50 hours and 40 clock hours, brakes, rotations, an alignment, a battery, a wiper motor. Front pads and rotors book at 1 to 1.5 hours. You do the job in 45 minutes. The paycheck. Your first real paycheck clears at $1,500 for the week. You text a screenshot to your mom. You tell yourself this is it. The math finally works. Then the shop runs cold. The next week you flag 22 hours, then 18. The dispatcher, a guy named Kenny who has never held a wrench, gives the gravy work to his cousin. Warranty buried on your bay. You learn what cherry picking means. You learn what a comeback is the day a customer drives back in with a wheel torque that wasn't your fault but is now your problem. You eat the labor. 60% of techs have considered leaving the industry, per Wrenchway. You become one of them on a Thursday in October. The Snap-on truck pulls up that same Thursday. Mike, the dealer, has a roller cabinet for you. $11,675. $2,918.75 down. $53.11 a week. For 260 weeks. You sign. You just took on 5 years of debt to do your job. Mike claps you on the shoulder and drives to the next bay. You sit on the box that night. The drawers slide on ball bearings. It smells like new vinyl. You think about the retired tech on the forum who wrote, "No way I could have accumulated the over $80,000 in tools without the truck." You think about the 57% who hit $60,000 or more in a career. You don't sleep well. You go in the next morning and flag 54 hours in 4 days. The math works again. Then it doesn't. Then it does. This is the pattern of the trade. Alexis comes in for a taillight bulb under warranty. Book time, 0.2 of an hour. 12 minutes of pay. You spend 40 minutes on it. Because the housing is buried behind a trim panel that snaps every time, you eat the difference. The guy you worked with in the pit, Marco, he just quit and went to Tesla. They pay hourly, $9.50 during the start apprenticeship, then $25 to $32 an hour on the floor. $65,720 a year on average per Glassdoor. No flat rate, no dispatch. He texts you a photo of his first paycheck. You stare at it for a long time. Level 4. The A-Tech. You're 27. You passed A1 through A8. Master Automobile Technician. Roughly 58,000 of you in a field of about 887,000. 6.5%. You wear the patch. The dealership moved you off the maintenance rack and onto Diag tickets. Glassdoor says auto mechanics like you average $71,593. The 90th percentile is $106,777. The BLS top decile, the official ceiling for the entire trade, is $80,850. You're knocking on it. A 2019 turbocharged sedan comes in under powertrain warranty. Misfire on cylinder 3, intermittent. You scope the injectors. You read freeze frame. You pull the timing cover. The engine has to come down. GM books the job at 8.6 hours of warranty time. You know what that means before you tear into it. It takes 3 days, 3 full days, on the lift, on your back, on the phone with technical assistance. A guy named Daniel Kunz at a GM dealer in West Nyack told NY Focus the same story almost word for word. 8.6 hours paid, 3 days worked. The Illinois Multiplier Act, passed in 2021, forces manufacturers in that state to pay dealers at customer pay rates. Tech pay went up 3 to 7%. Your state hasn't passed it. You finish the engine on a Friday at 6. The car runs. You flag 8.6 hours for 24 hours of work. The customer pays $95 an hour at the counter. Warranty reimburses the dealer at $68. You learn the gap is structural, not personal. The service writer doesn't know what a cam phaser is. He still controls your paycheck. You start spending 3 hours a night reading on Diagnostic Network, the way a specialist on there described it. You bid on a Snap-on Triton scanner, $5,995, and the truck adds it to your tab. The Ford FDRS subscription jumped from about $900 to $1,200 a year in September of 2024. You pay it. Toyota TechStream is $480 a year. You pay that too. Your tools are out earning your kids' daycare. Level 5. The Master and Foreman. You're 34. You passed L1, the Advanced Engine Performance Specialist, on your 4th attempt. A guy on YouTube famously documented passing it on his 5th. You added L4, the ADS Specialist, which ASE launched in May 2022. The shop made you Foreman. Glassdoor says Foreman average $82,739. The 90th percentile is $121,929. BMW techs at the 90th percentile clear $148,985. Mercedes-Benz techs $137,715. Of the entire United States workforce of techs over 30-plus years, only 2,289 have ever earned ASE World-Class Technician. A Mercedes comes in with an intermittent no start. 3 other shops have thrown parts at it. A starter, a fuel pump, a control module. You scope the CAN bus on a cold morning at 7 a.m. and watch the body controller drop off the network for 90 milliseconds when the wheel turns left. You trace the loom to a chafe point under the steering column. $2 wire, 8 hours to find. The customer pays for one. You bill the rest as goodwill against the comeback risk. The owner approves it because you're the only guy in the building who can do this. You calibrate 8AAs now. $250 to $500 a system at indie shops. The tools cost real money. The Autel MaxiSys Ultra at $3,999, $899 a year in subscriptions after that. You took a hybrid course at AC/DC's Up Your Voltage, $5,500 for 7 days. You came back and the shop billed an extra $40,000 in EV Diag in your first quarterback. None of it shows up in your check. You meet a guy named Aaron Stokes at a conference. He owns Eurofix in Nashville. He tells you the foundation for his second location was poured in early 2009, and the bank pulled his construction loan the same week. He pivoted. He survived. He runs ShopFix Academy now and mentors guys like you. He looks you in the eye and says, "The wrenches will not pay you what you're worth. Ever." You drive home thinking about it. The wrenches go on the wall, eventually. Or they break you. Level 6. The owner. You're 41. You bought a 4-bay independent from a retiring owner, the same way Sal Garcia at Fremont Auto Center took over a 4-lift shop in 2017 from a guy ready to walk away. You signed for $900,000. You put $200,000 down, the bank carried the rest. The first Monday you walked in as the owner, you adjusted the thermostat. That was the entire job that day. You don't fix cars anymore. You manage 3 techs, a service writer, parts vendors, a Napa Auto Care contract, garage liability insurance, and Google Ads. National average labor rate in 2024 was $142.82 an hour. You set yours at $149. Parts Tech surveyed 618 shops and found the average annual revenue per bay was $203,000. 4 bays gets you to roughly $800,000 a year. BizBuySell's national median for shops listed for sale is $908,605 in revenue. You're at the median. Effective labor rate. Hours per repair order. Comeback rate. 3 C's on every ticket. Complaint, cause, correction. You learn to read a profit and loss statement the way you used to read freeze-frame data. You learn that the loaded cost of a tech is $45 an hour, and a 65% labor margin requires a posted rate of at least $128 an hour. You learn that a buyer down the road will pay 2.69 times your seller's discretionary earnings. You learn that BizBuySell's median seller's discretionary earnings on a sale is $195,181. Yours is $230,000. The math is finally yours. You're 56. The buyer is 34. An A-Tech with 2 ASE master patches and a wife who runs his books. He's putting $200,000 down, the same number you put down 15 years ago. He's signing for the rest. You shake his hand in the office, where the coffee machine still doesn't work right. You walk the bays one last time. The lifts are the same lifts. Bay 2 still has the oil stain shaped like Florida that was there when you bought it. Your old toolbox, the Snap-on you signed for at 20, is in the corner of Bay 1 now. Paid off 28 years ago, still rolling. The drawer slides still work. The kid in Bay 3 is 19. He's a lube tech on his first month. He's making $14.90 an hour. He's draining the oil on a Civic. He doesn't look up when you walk past. He doesn't know you. He doesn't know that the guy who just sold the building started exactly where he is, on a driveway with a strip drain plug and a YouTube video. The check clears on a Tuesday, $549,900, plus the 15 years of owner draw stacked behind it, plus the house, plus the truck, plus the back surgery you got in 2019, because the BLS injury rate for mechanics is 185.9 per 10,000 full-time workers, and you were one of the 9,940 cases in 2020. Plus the marriage that survived, plus the marriage of a guy you used to work with that didn't. The trade replaces 70,000 techs a year, mostly to attrition. The average tech is 40 years old. The average tenure at one shop is 1 to 2 years. 60% of the people in your old bays are thinking about leaving right now. You kept showing up. That was the whole trick. The kid in Bay 3 wipes his hands on a rag and walks to the next car. You drive home. The house is paid off. The garage is empty. You don't own a single wrench anymore.